All right, spawning to the bottom right-hand corner. You know him, you love him. It is Evil Genius's Huck. And over in the top left-hand corner as the blue Protoss, the barcode player, it's gonna be Puck. And you'll have to forgive me because it's gonna happen. I will call an engagement wrong, saying it's Puck or Huck not winning the match or map or whatever it might be. But I can just get into a situation where the force fields for Puck don't work for Huck. All of a sudden Huck moves in, blinks out, and it just gets very confusing. We'll find out. PvP on Belshir Vestige. I like this map in particular for PvP because you can stabilize a lot better with sentries, I think, overall. Getting 3 bases, it's a lot easier to... well, I guess in general it's a lot easier to get 3 bases on Belshir Vestige. But how do you like PvP on this map?
I would agree with what you said. I think it's pretty easy to take 3 bases on this map, at least compared to other maps. It's still kind of iffy sometimes in PvP. More so, I guess, taking your natural than in taking your 3rd base. But we'll have to see. And I know both these players have kind of interesting playstyles too, so...
Yeah, very aggressive playstyles, as I was saying before. You remember the days when we were like, oh, I hope to make it past 1 base, and now it's like a given that we're going to be at least 2 bases just because how sturdy the mothership core is in the beginning stage.
Yeah, back when you could watch days of PvP and see only 1 base versus 1 base every game, and whenever someone tried to expand, they would immediately die.
Yeah.
But nowadays, pretty much every game you see some person going for a quick expansion.
And it's been working out a lot better for the expanders. Of course, Photon Overcharge playing a large role into that. Pylon sneaking in, and we'll be able to scout out the rest of Puck's base. That is for Huck. And the same thing happening as Puck will scout out Huck and see 2 gases. So everything's pretty standard. What's going on? Pylon or probe will take a little bit of damage, but it's okay. Alright, so in general, I mean, we see a lot of different strategies. I like the mothership core strategy really, really fast as soon as it's the cybernetics core is finished, but both these players, they do like the gateway-centric openings, just getting really, really large counts of gateway units, and playing pretty... I wouldn't say tricky, but just trying to be aggressive, trying to incur mistakes on their opponents.
Yeah, and Huck, with some of the mind games there, he had a mothership core in production until the probe left, and then he immediately canceled it and started a Twilight Council.
That's cool. Well, Huck doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some trickery so far.
And I would guess it's DTs.
Yeah, I would too. With the pylon over here, located in the top right-hand corner, I really feel like there's nothing else it can be but Dark Templars. Units tab, let's take a look 1-to-1. Where is Puck going to go with this? A robotics facility. Now, thankfully, there is no Stargate tech for him to cancel this.
But actually, it is Blink.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is an interesting one. I would have expected DTs, but Puck is a much better Protoss than me, and so is Puck.
I think the thought process is, well, Puck has a lot of times shown Robo to start out with, and he just doesn't want to gamble with that. You know, Dark Templars a lot of times can be a gamble, although it's not nearly as bad these days. It still can be. So, completely legitimate for him not to go Dark Templars. And Blink Stalkers, I think, are a lot more sturdier. Especially on this map, you can be over here, blink up into the main base, or you can just go around the natural. I mean, it's overall just a very safe way. Safe way to open up.
Yep. And Puck scouting with a Stalker, but he's not going to find that proxy pylon.
He's going everywhere, too.
Maybe he won't expect this then. Because he's scouting a lot with his Stalker, and he's not seeing anything so far. Hasn't seen a single probe, a single unit, a single pylon. He's seen basically nothing.
But now is when the Observer, as soon as it gets over to the natural base and sees no expansion, it's going to cue him a little bit. And a Stalker and a Mothership Core crosses the map. Why would you ever need to cross the map with the Stalker and a Mothership Core? This should kind of tell him that some sort of pressure is possible,
It's later than I think he wanted to know,
Yeah.
though. Just now he's starting his first Immortal. And usually, if you scout it earlier, you'll have your first Immortal coming as soon as your Observer's done.
Well,
and in this case, it's much later.
He is going to throw down that Photon Overcharge for sure. And Blink is shown. It's unfortunate he lost 3 Force Fields right there, but he knows now that it will be Blink. He can kind of stabilize as soon as he gets, I would say, two Immortals. And now he's going to go in
maybe
for the
even
kill.
just one, because Huck's not committing that much to it. He doesn't have a proxy pylon very close.
Yeah.
So I think he can stabilize now.
Well, we'll see. I mean, normally just to feel safe, though, you want to get a lot more than just one. I mean, sometimes you can stabilize on just one,
Yeah.
but it's very rare that actually happens.
I would
And
definitely get more.
but after seeing it's only, you know, like nine stalkers right now, he should actually come to the realization that, okay, this isn't going to be a committed all-in. He has got a Nexus behind this, because if he was going for some sort of all-in, you would have seen a much more escalated army than only 9 stalkers right now. And also he has Observer in a great position. Now blinking up. He has the Time Warp if he wants to use it. And he gets to get out. And there it is. 2 Force Fields will be used, but not much gonna happen from that. Zealot getting into the fray over here at the main base of Huck. And that's going to be thwarted pretty easily. This Observer still hasn't left there. It could have. He kills 1 probe. That's okay.
Not too bad.
But overall, I do feel like Puck will take away an advantage. 36 Harvesters to 33. The Army tab, let's check that out. 36 to 25 with those Immortals. They're pretty dense in supply.
And Huck is going for that quick Colossi tech in PvP. What do you think about this?
Not a big fan of Colossi on this in this matchup. I just feel like Immortal Archon is just so much better. And then you tuck up into something more important. Even like Tempests. I think Tempests are just so good. Not too high in quantities, but definitely you make them. You're able to instigate fights a lot more. And a lot of times, it just puts a countdown timer to say, Colossus, if you do make Colossus, go. You have to go, or else you will die a slow pain. Like, it doesn't work out if you're the Colossus player, so we'll see. But of course, you do have timings when it comes down to it. Both players going Colossus, by the way, so it's not even going to matter. But yes, with Colossus, you have your timings where you're going to be obviously the most optimal, and where you can just shut down everything and just overwhelm your opponent. Those are the good times, but that's also the times when a lot of purchases are just putting on so much pressure. But Colossus, what do we normally see from this?
Well, usually you build a lot of Colossus if you're either of these 2 players, and as soon as you see the other players going Colossus, you just keep making lots of Colossus.
Yeah? And then what?
You attempt to get an upgrade lead, but that's going to be difficult since their upgrades are both at about the same time. So you just try to get more Colossus than them.
So you just add on extra robos, right?
Yeah, and then in a fight, whoever has
more
the better
Colossus
angle
and more
will
Colossus.
win. And more Colossus. If you have more Colossus, you'll probably win. But a lot of the time you have very similar Colossi counts.
Yeah.
So then it comes down a lot to positioning and who has the better time warp and the better angle of engagement.
Aptly said. 3rd base will be taken for Huck. He'll have that little advantage. Ooh, and one of the Immortals. Pretty low there. But he will not go down.
But still, nice damage. You don't lose the Stalker, so damaging an Immortal is always nice. It'll help a lot in the later fights. And he's gonna do it again. So it's some pretty good control from Huck this game.
Let's take a look at that units tab. Namely, we're looking at the Colossus count. Only 3 Colossus for... excuse me, that's not what I meant to say. Okay, double Colossus production coming out of Puck here.
Puck has a lot more Immortals.
Yeah.
That's gonna help him a lot later, I think.
So that is one thing that we have to say. Immortals are so good to have in this composition. They tank so much, and if you don't have a lot of Immortals, obviously you can be punished pretty easily.
In Colossus versus Colossus, the best composition is pretty much pure Colossi, Immortal, and Archons.
Oh god, but the Colossus might go down here. The first Colossus is going to get picked off, and the second one will fall. No, he's not going to chase that. He's just going to get out, but a lot of damage already being done. Fantastic job by Huck.
Definitely. Still, I'd say Puck's not in a bad position, even after losing that Colossus, just because the openings put him.
Yeah, and Huck still on one robo, right?
Yeah, and Huck is still going off of one robo, so he's not making Colossus as fast as Puck.
Yeah, but the integration of High Templars and namely Archons are probably the most important thing that come into this. Archon's obviously able to tank the Immortals a lot better than any of the units. Zealots are okay, but they get shredded to this Colossus pretty fast with the burst AoE.
The Zealots are pretty good early on, but once you start getting about to like the 8, 9, 10 Colossi count, then the Zealots just melt in one round.
Yeah.
That's when you just need the Immortals and the Archons.
It doesn't get me wrong, they still have their application. I mean, but you have to warp in.
They're amazing for reinforcing.
Yes.
Because they can charge in.
Exactly.
But in the initial fight, they won't be as good as the Immortals and the Archons.
Exactly so. And this is a great wraparound. Having the Blink Stalkers just put Puck in a really awkward situation where he has to go back and defend, and that gives a lot of room for Huck to get his Colossus into position. And that's going to allow him to kite this army a lot better. Where's the Mothership Core? That's where I'm really wondering. Because he needs that Mothership Core to time warp. But I don't see that just yet. Here it is, the kiting from Huck. And it's not going to happen.
Yeah, he could not take that Nexus without losing most of his force. Maybe if he had a Mothership Core.
Yeah, he does have it now. Grouped up with his army, he has double time warp as well. And it looks like both players are just going to back up. Unit tab showing 4 Colossus to 5 Colossus, but this is what I'm really focusing. 5 Immortals to 2 Archons.
Yeah, the Immortals are better than those 2 Archons. And also, Puck has double Forges right now. So Puck is going to have better upgrades than Huck.
Of course. And I think it's a lot easier to make Archons than it is Immortals. So just having that second robo, you can really see the effect so far. Puck probably will have the composition advantage going into the late game stage, but will he be able to utilize it? I mean, Belshir Vestige, a very funneled map, so a lot of times attacking isn't the best option. But if Puck can get to a situation where he just denies 4th bases all the time, Huck could be in quite a dicey situation. But now Huck is going to move out into the map.
Puck is adding a second robo now, so that'll help him a lot in catching up in the Colossi and Immortal count. Maybe he can trade out some of his Zealots for Harass, replace them with more Immortals, Colossi, and Archons, and still be in a pretty good position. We'll have to see.
Well, the attack is coming, and the advantage looks to be in Puck's favor. I really do think the composition is just so much better for Puck than it is for Huck.
Puck
Huck
does
is
have
just
a ton of Zealots, though.
So does Huck, though.
I know. I feel like whoever could manage to trade out the Zealots and just then take the defender advantage with Immortal and Archon could come out way ahead. But sometimes it can be difficult to trade them out without wasting them, and you don't want to do that either.
Yes, that's true. We do have some attacks coming in here. Zealot's going to go into the natural base, looking at the income. 60 Harvesters to 64, so these army supplies should be pretty similar, and there it is. Very similar. But Huck is going to move into position, trying to get and do some damage, but the Colossus of Puck are right there. Time Warps will go down to really disable Puck from moving forward. God dang it. These two guys.
I'm surprised he's not killing these destructible rocks before engaging.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to lure him forwards and then catch him between them. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, Puck's going to go ahead and do it. And waste a lot of charge on those Zealots. Need to be careful. Okay.
So
Fight's coming
Puck
in
wants
here.
to fight.
And that's right. The Immortals are going to be the big benefactor, though, for Puck, as you can see, just destroying absolutely everything.
That pylon is helping Huck a lot, though, warping the Zealots right on the side.
Yeah, it is. But when it comes down to it, I think Puck is going to take the advantage here, and his round of reinforcements are going to be a lot better than Huck's. And even everything went well. As you said, this pylon on the right-hand side helped out so much, but even with the Immortals there, you can see they tanked so much longer than the Stalkers did and than the Archons did. An attack into the natural base is going to probably get cleaned up here, as there are Dark Templars to defend against this. and both players at 111 supply, but Huck doing additional damage over on the right-hand side.
If he can take out the Nexus, he'll be in an incredibly good economic position as he has a 4th base that's about to finish. And although he's not going to fully saturate that 4th base, if he starts mining the gas, he can churn out a decent amount of Archons. The problem is Puck could hit a timing, though.
Yes, I think he should be. Resources lost, very similar for both players. I thought Puck might have had an advantage there, but it looks like he doesn't. Just from killing all those Zealots and Dark Templars. But if he rallies together, gets his units in a single punch, 4 Colossus against 1 Colossus, I mean, all you have to do is just keep drilling in and have your Colossus be super cost efficient. But I don't even think he knows about this 4th base popping up here. No, he does not. But I would love him to just yank out his Toshiba drill and just go for it.
That would be fun.
Just drill, man. Drill, baby, drill. Go Republican mode. But I don't think it's going to happen. He's just going to play defensive.
Yeah.
Because he has no indicators to let him know that he should be pushing out right now.
So I'm actually starting to like Huck's position the longer Puck waits. Because now Huck is adding in a lot of Archons into his composition. And he has 2 Immortals, which is 2 more than he had initially. And he's continuing to just pump out Colossi.
Although, you have to always be careful, though, because Archons are very easy to make if you have the bank. And of course, we don't see a bank out here. But because of how fast, obviously Warp Gate makes the units, you're able to just pump out Archons reactively. But Colossi, Immortals, they aren't something that you can really react to. You have to build them up over a long period of time. So I agree with this. Like, the overall Robo count over here is a lot higher for Puck. So, yes, it helps out that he has a lot of Archons, but as the game goes longer, I would actually say Puck is the one that has the advantage because of his high Robo army.
We'll have to see, because in the fight, I think Huck will definitely have a lot more Archons. Because even now, they're both approaching max quickly, and then they can add on more Archons unless they trade out Zealots. And Huck, he has a lot of Archons. It's currently 8 Archons to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, the Robo count is a lot better for Puck, though. With more Immortals, and, well, actually 1 less Immortal, but a lot more Colossi. Well, by a lot, a couple.
8 to 5, but it does make a difference,
yeah.
Right? Definitely does make a difference. And we're going to see him swing pretty soon. Zealots, Archons, and Colossus moving into position. And it's going to depower this Dark Templar that is on top of this watchtower. Observer gets over there, and down he goes. Very awkward surround.
So much of a gas bank for Huck. If the fight goes pretty evenly, he can just add in about 6 or 7 more Archons.
That helps out. Now, Time Warp is going to be the big thing that we have to focus on, because Time Warp is going to help out the heavy Colossus player, of course, that is Puck. The engagements are going off, and I really don't know how to read this, because there's just a lot of blinking lasers.
Yeah, lots of lasers everywhere.
But it looks like
Puck is winning.
Yeah,
and
Puck is winning from this engagement. There is another round of units popping out here.
But even though Puck won that engagement, Huck does have this huge gas bank, so if he can just retreat, warp in about 6 Archons, maybe he can turn this tables on Puck. And he's warping in 8 Templar. So, can Huck turn the tables on Puck?
We'll find out as the attack is going to commence here. But the Colossi are in a really bad position, and there's a nice flank with these Colossi.
And now Huck's moving with his charge lots. They're going to soak up a lot of the Colossi damage here. And now here come the Archons. And
this is perfect. Perfect for Huck. And he's just overwhelming Puck. Every single Colossi is going to go down here. Even the Colossus pickup not going to be enough, ladies and gentlemen. Losing this
and look at that
is detrimental.
He just microed back those 2 low health Colossi and saved them.